the Public Safety and Realignment Visioning Group. And we are a group of people who are very concerned about the area in which we live, as all of us are. That's why we're here. And we are homeowners and business owners, parents, neighbors, law enforcement, and ultimately community activists. We care very deeply about what's going on in our neighborhoods and in our communities. And we've come together, bringing each of us bringing a different agenda to these meetings. And we've been working very hard, as you all have over the last few months, to bring these different agendas into cohesive goals. And so the things that we want to achieve in our group is to bring support to formerly incarcerated and their families, to have safe places to bicycle, to increase skate park safeties in our neighborhoods, to regulate transitional housing, to implement traffic calming in certain areas, to have sidewalks around all of our schools, to prevent crime, and ultimately to increase community awareness. And so the goals that we have come up with fall into what we have put into 3 categories, and that is to live safe, feel safe, and move safely throughout the Eden area. And so this evening's presentation is going to be broken up into these 3 parts. And we'll start with Live Safely, and Hugh and Judy are going to present our challenges that we've identified and the solutions that we've come up with.
Hi, my name is Judy. I'm with the Charrette Association. Can you hear me? Okay, and we're doing transitional housing. Transitional housing typically means it means to help families find affordable housing either from renting or developers building with a percentage of the units earmarked for this purpose, with incentives from the counties ranging from subsidized rents to grants and etc. These are short-term programs lasting usually about 1 year and offer help with employment services, counseling, or whatever is needed to help them get back on their feet and become productive citizens. This is a needed service, and if used properly, it's a win-win for all. We have found in the Eden area many group homes which are a number of persons living in the same residence operating under the guise of transitional housing. Currently, there is no conditional use permit for these groups. These group homes housing over 6 persons who are not licensed by the state. Essentially, this means anyone can open a group home in the unincorporated area, and they can house as many residents as they want. They house people with substance abuse, mental health, and an array of other issues, charging as much as $1,000 per person per month and living in crowded rooms with no services offered. This opens the way for unethical operators to make a huge profit from these people who are in need of help. My neighbor is an example of the worst scenario. He owns 4 of these homes, 2 of which opened in the last year, 2 of which are directly across the street from an elementary school. And in a statement recorded July 12th at a BZA hearing on another matter, when asked about what these homes were about, he stated, "They are transitional home care, independent living homes. The people there live independently and they are all legal. The county checks on them regularly and they have never been any trouble or anything. They are not a nuisance." Well, here are the facts on that house. They charge $1,000 per person per month. There is 1 person there to supervise. There are at least 4 to a bedroom. They provide no service except for food and shelter. There is no community room or outdoor area. These people wander the streets with nothing to do all day. The principal of Colonial Acres recently wrote in a letter to the people that the people wander around with vacant and incoherent looks on their faces and no one seems to be taking care of them. We never know what to expect. And they also had been at the school using the bathroom and panhandling from the parents. The police have been called at the one residence 100 times in less than 3 years. The fire department is there constantly, and so are the paramedics. I have been told that most of the calls are disturbance calls, but turn into 5150, which is a 72-hour hold at a psychiatric hospital such as John George. I've also been told the reason for this is the residents are not taking their prescribed medications. This has to be stopped, both for the community and the people who are living there. They deserve better. As of right now, we have no recourse. Therefore, we are asking that the county require a conditional use permit for all group homes not licensed by the state, and that be retroactive.
I just want to add that the county is working on this, but we've had difficulty in getting any information about how these how contracts are linked, or where money comes from that support these. It's just been a difficult process. Things are not networked, and it seems like there's a big disconnect from the county level. Anyway, the state level is probably just as bad. We don't have that opportunity this time. Thank you.
So let me quickly summarize the challenges that we identified as a group. There's a need for an ordinance, there's lack of oversight, extraordinary amount of sheriff and fire department calls, density and proximity to schools and other group homes is a challenge, and quality of services to clients is questionable. Neighbors have no recourse at this time. So the solutions that we have come up with as a group is that code enforcement, that there should be code enforcement from the county. There should be a retroactive conditional use permit for these homes, and set of guidelines for neighbors to give feedback and for the county to respond. And to protect the interest of the residents of transitional housing, as well as protect the interest of neighbors of transitional residences, neighbors of the transitional residences. So next in our trio of scopes is feel safe, and Ted and Spencer are going to talk about feeling safe in the Eden area.
Hi, I'm Ted Moran. I'm a Division Director with Alameda County Probation, also a San Lorenzo resident, and just want to comment. Usually, people aren't taller than me. I'm kidding. I feel like a child again. Spencer and I will be talking about the feel safe. And we have some challenges in this area. As Dottie mentioned, we have collapsed everything into 3 goals or 3 areas. And this one is to feel safe. One, we have criminal justice realignment, which puts formerly incarcerated individuals under the supervision of Alameda County, and what's the impact here in the Ashland, Fairland, unincorporated Eden area. There's also a disproportionately high number of formerly incarcerated people that live in Ashland, Fairland. We need people to feel safe as they're moving into and out of parks and around schools in our own neighborhoods where we live and work and play. And to coordinate services for all the things that are going on for all the people who have needs to keep them from recidivating, keep them from committing crime. Some of the potential solutions would be to increase community awareness, create a reentry center, and increase family support, and provide education and training. Within these goals, we actually have some 3 specific descriptions of everything I'd like to talk about. Turn over to Spencer.
My name is Spencer. I'm with the Youth and Family Services Bureau. I'm also a resident of San Lorenzo. Our first goal is analyzing crime data and develop programs. And you ask us, how do we do that? We do that by looking at why these people go to jail, and not just going to jail, but getting out of jail and going back. It's a never-ending door. So we need to create something to help these people. And it's the window of when they get out and when they get back to their own neighborhoods. If they have no new place to go, they will return where they came from. I can say it happened for me and many other people like me. So definitely it's something that'll help them and it'll help the neighborhoods. And you know, it's something every community needs to change. And a lot of times people want to change, but they do not know how. So it's up to us and the community leaders to help them do that. Goal number 2 is to support, create a centralized location for formerly incarcerated residents and their families, which entails crime prevention, restorative justice center, and to help with such thing as job training, recovery, shelter, legal resources, and case management. And in Santa Rita Jail, they do have the Deputy Sheriff's Activity Lead work with these people and help prepare them for when they get out. So now it's on them to make that decision. So I would definitely be supporting something like this, whether it's getting an ID, doing some job training, going back to school, learning how to get a resume, stuff like that. It definitely helps them. But before any of that happens, they have to feel comfortable in their area, which definitely ties into shelter and such forth.
2 additional goals would be to identify how unincorporated area gangs are impacting our schools and the surrounding communities, develop programs to address them. Once again, it's identifying the problem. As a former gang officer in my previous life, I understand that they have a very traumatic impact. We need to find out what's going on. We actually have some ideas, but develop programs that will address those issues so that don't become issues for the community. Another project within this goal is to encourage the development of community emergency response teams. One of the things is these emergency response teams will be able to help in the communities in the event of a disaster. I don't know if anyone's ever checked 72hours.org, but in the case of like a major earthquake or some other disaster, we're going to be relying on ourselves for a period of time. And so to get people trained in that, the other thing it does actually connects neighbors to neighbors, connects people to people. And that's one of the best things you can do for crime prevention. And finally, we have another goal, which is to evaluate crime issues emanating from skate parks and see what they can be done to increase family comfort and presence. Currently, we have a number of skate parks in Castro Valley, Ashland, Charrette, and San Lorenzo. These parks are designated for kids, and kids need to feel safe going in there. So if there's problems there, find out what's going on and address those same issues.
We'll do this really quick. So our last scope is to feel safe. And can you please come up, please? And some of the challenges that we've identified moving safe is our next scope. Some of the challenges we've identified is the lack of sidewalks around schools, the very few bicycle lanes that we have, cars that speed with complete disregard to posted speed limits, cluttered and littered walkways forcing people to go off the sidewalk and walk into traffic, poorly lit underpasses, and unsafe vacant lots and abandoned buildings which can attract criminal activity. And so we brought today some of the students that go to Castro Valley Elementary School, which is the neighborhood that I live in. And Matthew walks to school every day on Anita Avenue, and there are no sidewalks on Anita Avenue. His mom pushes his little sister in a stroller and often has to go out into the street and dodge traffic because there are no sidewalks. When it's raining, it's muddy. And so this is a student who's directly impacted every day by not having sidewalks in our schools. There are a lot of other examples of schools that don't have sidewalks around them. Stanton Elementary has sidewalks on one side of the school. Fairview Elementary School doesn't have sidewalks on Maud Avenue or D Street, which are main streets to get to the school. So there are a lot of unsafe conditions that our students walk to school in and bike to school in. And so we want to change that.
So we've come up with some solutions. Okay, solutions. Install sidewalks in highly traveled streets, mainly around schools. To identify areas needing traffic calming devices. We live right in front of Cache Valley Elementary on San Miguel, and there is sheriff presence sometimes. We have a crossing guard. I almost witnessed the crossing guard get hit twice this week because people just do not pay attention to her. So a traffic calming device in that area would be great, like a speed sign, something. We cannot get speed bumps because of the fire station, but install bike lanes. A lot of our students do bike to school, and it would be really nice to see bike lanes in the areas. Ensure that litter, cluttered sidewalks are cleared in a timely manner. And identify poorly lit areas and install lighting. There is an underpass on Ashland that is a highly traveled area for students, and when it's cluttered and there's no light, they don't feel safe traveling there, so that'd be a good solution for that as well.
So let me wrap up by presenting the goals that our team has come up with. And goal number 1 is to establish guidelines and protocols regarding licensed and unlicensed housing establishments. And this addresses the transitional housing issue. And that addresses live safely. Goal number 2 is to prevent crime and reduce recidivism. Goal number 3 is to evaluate crime issues emanating from skate parks and see what can be done to increase family comfort and presence. And that's feel safe. And goal number 4 is to make places such as abandoned buildings and vacant lots and vacant homes and underpasses safer through crime prevention through environmental design. And finally, to ensure pedestrian